First of the series, talking about how you have to be even dumber to be a flat earther in 2023 than ever before. Example being ring laser gyroscopes. We, of course, know that ring laser gyroscopes do work in detecting the rotation of the Earth.
In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser gyroscope. It is extremely precise. If we could simply get one of these ring laser gyroscopes, we would be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. What we found is when we turned on that gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift, a 15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. But the focus that I want to give on this is that this is going mainstream. These are going to be available, vastly more readily available than ever before. And as such, they're going to allow them to potentially be used in things like classrooms to help confirm principles that we actually understand about the Earth. For example, northern hemisphere rotating if you're looking at the sky counterclockwise, southern hemisphere rotating clockwise, which debunks flat Earth. And the ancient Greeks said, oh, well, this has to be a globe then. And you'd think that would be that. But the advent of the internet timed very well with the destruction of STEM and everybody just staying home during the pandemic and pretending like they're all of a sudden researchers when really they should have stayed in school, so that they could see the derivation of formulas and concepts and actually get a full-on science, technology, engineering, and math background instead of just declaring themselves experts, which clearly this person declared himself to be an expert. Told us all about how he got some gyroscope from Alibaba or something like that, put it on his desk, and he didn't notice Earth's rotation. So there you go. Ring laser gyroscopes are nowhere near as accurate. That's not what Honeywell says, manufacturer of many gyroscopes for defense and missile guidance, navigation systems on aircraft, ships, and now also for physicists, and potentially, as this goes more mainstream, that's my point, is in 2023 and beyond, these are going to keep going more mainstream. The ability to detect Earth's rotation, even up to the accuracy of detecting the minuscule, this will not change, even by a centimeter, where a missile will land, because in our reference frame, the relativistic shift is so small, it's negligible, just approximate to Newton. You'll be fine forever. I did an episode on that just prior. Here's the link. But purpose of this podcast being, say, okay, place, ring laser gyroscope pointing towards the North Pole. In one direction, it's going to be, see, a positive
15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. And then you point it towards the South Pole, and it would be a negative
15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks again, Bob. So you'd see the drift of
15 degree per hour.
Just cannot thank you enough, Bob. You would see that over and over again, and therefore, you could tell that it was rotating in opposite directions facing different poles. It's kind of a debunk of the flat Earth. As these become more readily available, as the big versions get more accurate, the smaller versions are now being made mainstream for defense and other applications. These are going to cause flurfs to really jump up their own ass in order to defend the indefensible, which is that Earth doesn't rotate. And so here you can see this flurf. His head is pretty far up there as it is. Let's read through this. The Michelson-Morley ring laser gyroscope, you read that right, was placed on a pool of liquid mercury to eliminate errors from vibrations. Is your little ring laser gyroscope mounted on liquid mercury to eliminate errors from vibrations? Huh, clown boy? Oh, I feel so insulted. Until I realized, Michelson-Morley, not a ring laser gyroscope. Beams of light from oil lamps, as it were, available in the late 1800s. I forget it was 1880s, 1890s. And so oil lamp light, not laser, as it were. And this is the reaction we're going to start to get. And I'm using this flurf as an example because I think this is the average intelligence of flurf, as in, earthworm, jellyfish, flat earther. That's sort of the level we're talking here. They're all going to start to react viscerally and say that no, that's not what they're measuring. All kinds of excuses came up. He said ultra accuracy still requires mechanical gyroscopes. I'm not saying that mechanical gyroscopes, when used in, say, aviation applications, haven't, led to, U.S. militaries being successful. They have been used, and historically, they're being replaced by ring laser gyroscopes, and the development potential is not on the mechanical side. The development potential, and this is what they don't want to acknowledge, and this is why it's a really, really bad time to be a flurf. And you're going to have to be dumber. You're going to have to jump up your own ass even further than ever before to be a flurf going into 2023 and onwards. And that's not going to stop people from doing it. Don't get me wrong. When presented, it's like, oh no, ring laser gyroscopes, Honeywell and all these universities they're supporting. Please develop these further and give us some examples so that we can detect relativistic shift even within our reference frame. Very, 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 very minuscule. It's like 10 to the minus, I forget, somebody quoted it. I'll have to go dig that up. But it's minuscule and it really does not change by even a centimeter where your missile is going to land. But it is helpful for universities teaching physics to demonstrate, okay, folks, let us now see what the device will detect.
15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. And when the device that has been calibrated to detect something does detect it, this is evidence. What he's trying to say here, he went on to say that because, and this is, I think, a common FLIRF theme. That's why I think it's worth mentioning. A common FLIRF theme is that Michelson-Morley, this is traveling around the Discord servers and such on Flat Earth, echo chambers of stupidity, is that Michelson-Morley not detecting what they were looking for, which is ether. They were looking for ether, means the Earth's not rotating because they didn't see any shift. It's like, no. What's it's going to say? Assumptions. They made assumptions for the Copernican model. It's like, yes, they stated that as an assumption, and they were looking for excess drift, which would describe ether, drag from ether as light moves through ether, and it debunked ether. That's what the experiment was set up for. So their argument's going to be, well, that's not what it was set up for. What it was set up for was looking for any motion whatsoever, and because it didn't find any motion, Earth doesn't rotate, and ring laser gyros don't work. Weird considering the missiles are being designed to hit their targets. The planes are designed to land where they're supposed to land. The navigation systems are working, essentially. So the device working means the device is working, and it's using the Sagnac principle. It's using ring lasers. So that's not debunked. So Michelson-Morley not showing ether debunks ether. It doesn't debunk light. It doesn't debunk light shift. It doesn't debunk ring laser gyroscopes. It doesn't debunk that when placed in a concrete housing that you would find
15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. So the other thing that FLIRFs are going to be very tempted to do with this, it's not just evidence, it's growing evidence. It's constant evidence. This is going to be everyday evidence. Ring laser gyroscopes being everywhere always and available to many, many people, many physics laboratories, many even maybe high school physics laboratories. That'd be, that would be fantastic, is if we could get more equipment that young students will eventually be using in their careers to have beneficial careers for the furthering of science, discovery, engineering, convenience of passengers traveling, whether it be airlines or by boat or even by space these days, which is entirely possible because it's happening in the commercial space, even in the commercial realm. We've commercialized space travel. That's a whole nother one for another day in terms of things that makes it dumber to be a FLIRF in 2023 and beyond. They're going to bear false witness, and they're going to declare to the physicists, this is what actually the Michelson-Morley experiment was meant to show, Earth rotation, and it didn't. No, it was meant to show ether, and it didn't. Earth rotation is the benefit that we got out of the Michelson-Morley experiment, which didn't show ether. But the null hypothesis of the Copernican model was confirmed. Oops. They said the experiment to show ether. It didn't. They showed the Copernican model. That's just an assumption, is what they'll say. It's not. That's a conclusion. That's what the data said. They don't like the data, ring laser gyroscope, because they're going mainstream, and they repeatedly show
15 degree per hour drift.
Thanks, Bob.